Welcome back. So we've talked about technology considerations in general. Now let's discuss how to organize the technology requirements. To start your planning for the collaboration tools, I would use the Zachman Framework Planner view as the starting point. The Zachman Framework is for defining enterprise architectures, database bus architectures, and numerous other technical architectures. It is the cross product of the journalistic questions and the system development lifecycle. The top view is the business analysis phase of a project and is a good starting point for you to determine what technology you need. The business needs for your virtual team will help in the design of a technical tool set to assist the team accomplish its goals. So first, to establish the Zachman Planner view, decide what type of work the team will perform, what information is needed for that work, where the information will reside, where the team members are located, what are the workflows, what types of communication are essential and what types are desirable, what is the budget for communications technology. And again, there's a set of other levels in the Zachman framework, but the planner view is the starting point for determining all the architectures, and it's a good starting point for a virtual team to decide what technology it needs. So you start with defining what type of work you do, what information is needed to do that work, where the work is going to be done, what the workflows are between the locations, the budget, and then you've defined your Zachman Planner view. In addition, you want to identify the existing infrastructure that's available to you. What technology is currently used by the company, and leverage the existing technology to reduce the learning curve for your team. And then look at how flexible the team requirements are for particular technologies. It'll also help in determining technology needs to define your staff's capability. Are all the staff members ready to learn the necessary technology? What is their attitude towards technology? What familiarity do they have with technology? How much time and training will it take for them to learn the technical tool set once you've selected it? Estimate the schedule. When does the work begin and what are the milestone deadlines? And then when will each technology be required to go live to support the team in meeting those milestone deadlines? How much time does your schedule allow for training on the technology of virtual collaboration? All of these things will help determine what technical choices you make. You have to understand your needs from the Zachman Framework Planner view. You have to understand your staff's capabilities. You have to look at the schedule pressures you're under. And then with all of those, you'll come to reasonable technology choices to support the team. Okay, once you have that information, then you can start categorizing the needed collaboration. First into synchronous and asynchronous. Asynchronous technology does not require participants to be together all at the same time. Participation can be spread over different times by different people. On the other hand, synchronous technology requires all participants to be together at the same time. The use of asynchronous technology can mitigate the problems caused by different working hours in the global virtual team. However, with asynchronous technology, there is still a potential gap between when an issue is posted and when it can be answered or resolved. It's easier if everybody's co-located because then you can post an issue and someone can say, yes, I can take that and I can work on it. With a global virtual team, you'll post it, yes, and the asynchronous technologies allow you to post it and other people to read it, but you may not get the immediate feedback that yes, I can do it until 12 hours later. Here are the types of technology in terms of general categories that map to collaboration needs in terms of synchronous and asynchronous. And again, asynchronous technology does not require participation at a set time, whereas synchronous technology does require participation at the same time. So asynchronous technologies that are available, of course, ubiquitous email, voicemail and video mail, discussion boards, calendaring, co-authoring, production tools like project management, configuration management, bug tracking, workflow, knowledge management tools are all asynchronous technologies for the team to use for collaboration. The synchronous technologies that will be used will include telephone calls, teleconferencing, video conferencing, and of course you will have used Skype from last week among your team members, web conferencing, and instant messaging. Here are the types of technology that support different types of team functions. You'd map these to the analysis of what communications the team will do, where it will do it, the workflows to accomplish the necessary collaboration, who will be doing what in those workflows, and for each type of activity you'll then look at the type of tool available. Let's see what technology tools support what virtual team functions. First, you can create or enhance your team's functionality with a web pages that contains every team member's contact information. You would extend the white pages with a yellow pages with team members' resumes and task assignments. For the team function of working on activities or tasks, the type of technology that would support this would be document repositories and project systems. For the team function of processes, the type of technology that would support that would be organization charts, expertise directories, workflow tools. For the team function of resource availability or presence, the type of technology that would support that is instant messaging, team calendars, individual schedules. And for the team function of establishing a work environment, the type of technology that would help is team dashboards with news, environmental data, desktop video meetings, and stored video. Activity-related information, the first category in this slide, could be version control deliverables. And just as an aside, the University of Maryland Blackboard right now does not have a content repository that does versioning or check-in and check-out. This wasn't available at the beginning of the semester, but they plan to deploy a content management repository during the semester that does allow this. It doesn't allow co-authoring like you would get on Google Docs, but it's still going to be a step up from not having versioning and check-in, check-out in terms of collaborative work efforts. Other activity-related information might be interview write-ups, meeting minutes, things of that nature. Collaboration tools that might help process functions for the virtual team might be workflow tools, where defined and ad hoc routing for review and approval of either deliverables or meeting minutes or whatever other documentation you may be reviewing, those workflows are automated. For presence and availability, and of course these are now common on Facebook and in work email and messaging systems with text and chat built in, that's where you need to find out if somebody's available to work with at a particular time. And these presence capabilities are really quite sophisticated, and you've probably used them either on Facebook or at work on your email systems. So we have another way of classifying technology and mapping it to work tasks that a virtual team will conduct. So we can look at simple and complex technology and then face-to-face meetings that don't necessarily require a technology. And we can in turn map those to low collaboration tasks and high collaboration tasks. So here we have the cross product of the type of technology in terms of complexity and the type of task in terms of collaboration. So a simple technology would be helpful in low collaboration tasks such as sharing information, sharing viewpoints and ideas, planning activities, socializing, and brainstorming. Simple technology can also be used in tasks that require a high degree of collaboration, and that's where you might want to look at evaluating options. If you have a complex technology, you probably don't want to employ that for low collaboration tasks. The setup time is going to be much greater than that of a simple technology, and since the simple technology gets the job done, why go through that extra effort? But of course, the complex technologies do provide support and better support for tasks that require a high degree of collaboration. And those kind of tasks might be building consensus, product development, problem solving, and decision making. And the final category is face-to-face. And that's where you don't really use technology because even the most complex technology is not able to do it as effectively as face-to-face. And the tasks that require a high degree of collaboration that would need face-to-face are familiarizing the team with each other, socializing the team to establish relationships, and perhaps resolving conflicts as the team progresses in its work that might be creating roadblocks to team progress. So, what is a high and a low degree of collaboration? Well, low collaboration is the type of work you would do on knowledge or issues that are well-defined and stable. On the other hand, high collaboration is required for areas that are not well-defined, where you've got emerging needs for knowledge. One other thing to note is that a document is a type of communication media and not a technology type. You can use a variety of technologies to transmit a document: email, a content management system, or a discussion repository or a document repository. A web conference is another way of transmitting documents. And of course, we're kind of transmitting documents or communicating a document with Blackboard Collaborate, and that's these PowerPoint documents that we're organizing our lectures around. Simple technologies can support tasks that require both high levels of collaboration and those that require low levels of collaboration. So for simple technology, the low degree of collaboration, the tool you might use, email or discussion boards. For high degree of collaboration, the simple technologies you might use are instant messaging and teleconferencing. So you can get high levels of collaboration from technologies that are fairly simple to use. For complex technology, we also can use it for, again, high degree of collaboration. The tools you might use for that would be video conference and web conference. So you can combine these two slides and look at what you need to do. Build consensus, product development, problem solving. That's a complex technology. Over here you've got complex technology. You might want to consider video conferencing at a minimum, and even better might be web conferencing if the team is up to the technical challenge of using it. Again, here we've got a simple technology, email and discussion board, used for tasks that require a low degree of collaboration, while other simple technologies such as instant messaging and teleconference can also support tasks requiring more extensive interaction and collaboration. Activity monitoring can be done in a shared digital space such as discussion board, workflow, project management tool. Web conferencing or video conferencing can be used for situational awareness. Use project management or workflow tools to resynchronize your plans with supporting alerts in discussion boards or other media, lean media, if you change those plans. And we're going to look at a mini case study where these technology tools, modified for military use, have been used. As we noted in our distributed knowledge lecture, the U.S. Army is a leader in the use of virtual teams and collaboration tools to tap into distributed knowledge. In addition, they use these tools to improve coordination, control, and cohesion in virtual team interactions within the teams themselves and between virtual teams and other regular organizational units. In this case study, an Army Corps developed a plan to secure a river crossing. A regiment was assigned a task to take the river and allow divisions to pass through its lines. That's a risky and complex interaction. From my own experience in the U.S. Marine Corps, I can give an example of that risk. When units move through another unit's area of operation, you don't want your tanks to move over an area that has the other unit's infantry deployed. Tanks can do a lot of damage, just moving, not even firing. So within a unit, your unit coordinates with its S3 function, and that's logistics and control, at the detail level. So what is transferred up to higher level units is aggregated information. They don't have the detail information on where all the little units might be deployed. So it's just that the 5th Marine Regiment is in this area. That is your cue not to go into the area lest you might light it up with your own units or just cause accidents with your own units. This is the complexity of the case study mentioned in this river crossing operation. Coordination between organizational boundaries. And that's not always easy, and again, it's a complex and risky operation. And yet a commander was able to coordinate such a complex operation using virtual collaboration tools in an ad hoc manner. So the regiment that was assigned the task was not successful. So the mission, or we might call it a project, could not proceed as planned. Division planners had neglected to prepare contingencies for such failure. So none of the division plans were viable either to get across the river. So a brigade commander seized the initiative, prepared a plan, and synchronized that plan with adjacent brigades. His brigade secured the river and the divisions were able to cross. So here's an example of outstanding individual initiative by this brigade commander in the Army who was able to use virtual collaboration tools to coordinate a very complex operation in an ad hoc manner because the original plan didn't work. Okay, in the critique of the operation, a recommendation to use virtual technology was given to brainstorm potential failures in the future. Additionally, they decided that such technologies could be used to assess the assumptions in a plan. Likewise, the virtual technology can be used and was proven to be able to monitor execution of a plan and replan based on progressing situational awareness of the outcomes. Verbal channels, activity monitoring technology, and visual aids were used by the brigade commander to formulate a new plan, coordinate it with other commanders, and execute it. So what kind of technology is available for coordination? Well, you can use video or web conferencing when an accurate and informative presentation of the situation is needed. Video images and whiteboard sharing enable coordination of fast-paced or complex activities, and they also focus attention of the team members on the sidelines who nonetheless may be called on to act with short notice. And this we'll see in the next case study. Video must be supplemented with other virtual technologies so the most complete situational awareness is presented. So let's look at another case study, this one with a neurosurgical team. Neurosurgeons are focused on their surgery, so they're not able to completely communicate with their supporting team. The support team of nurses and anesthesiologists and other assistants rely on a live video feed to provide the information they need to act on cue. For example, the scrub nurse relies on the video feed to anticipate the tools and materials the surgeon will need. The nurse must be able to select from among hundreds of items with very little advance notice. This collaboration using virtual tool sets is critical for the success of most surgeries. So, in this lecture so far, we've looked at technology adoption both in general and for virtual teams. And remember that perceived risk is a governing factor in the adoption and the rate of adoption of technology. We've also looked at the use of technology on global teams. In general, the technology must be simple and reliable, and you must know your infrastructure. And in the last section, we looked at the technology requirements for a virtual team and what categories of tools support what categories of team function. Now, let's look at some principles for using virtual tools. We'll start with email. Email enhances virtual management. In ancient and medieval times, virtual management was accomplished through letters to associates indoctrinated in the values, goals, and methods of the community. Email that is accessible from anywhere at any time extends the reach of virtual management today. Some of the principles are, if you can, avoid email attachments. Use the document repository on the team website instead. Publish an email protocol that describes why and when to send emails to different team members, and also who must be copied on what type of email. Inform the right people with the right amount of information. Don't spam them. Emails are a permanent record of who said what to whom and when. So more on email. Each email should cover one topic only. The subject line should be a clear statement of the email purpose. Email should be short and again focused on one topic. The most important content should be at the beginning of the email. You should use short paragraphs. In replies, always include a copy of the original email. Now let's consider team websites. Team websites are a virtual replacement of the command center. Teams meet and exchange plans, ideas, and information in an active manner. They're accessed with the team members' web browsers. And they usually have a document repository for uploading complex information. Teams store and retrieve mission, objectives, strategies, plans, task lists, the deliverables in various versions, or other documentation related to their assignment. We, of course, are using Blackboard for our team website or our class website. It is a powerful, but it's a complex and expensive tool set. We're using Piazza as our backup team website. It is less powerful, but on the other hand, it's simple to use and it's free. Google also has offerings for setting up team websites. So for team websites, you have discussion boards for spontaneous communication. You have other boards for managing other aspects of the team. You can have a content board where you keep versioned content. You can have a staff board where you keep a white page and a yellow page directory of your staff so people know who to look up if they need certain types of assistance. You have a research board where you keep a lot of information in a library that might be pertinent to the team and is research from outside of the team. And a special purpose boards that may be specific to your task. A team member must be assigned to manage the team website. And of course, in the case of this class, I manage the Blackboard and Piazza team websites. Some guidelines for using team websites. Use a tool set that is adaptable to changes over the term of the virtual team. Websites should be usable on more than one project. Uploading and downloading information must be user-friendly. The site must be operational before the virtual team is activated. A team member must be assigned responsibility to manage the website. And with regard to uploading graphics, not everyone worldwide has a NARA compliant hardware for scanning graphics. And so you have to decide what standards are governing the graphics that you're uploading and that everybody has scanner hardware that's capable of executing that. Likewise, you decide if smartphone pictures are acceptable for upload and become a record for your team activities, or a document in your research library or your activity libraries. Well, let's compare email and discussion board. So the discussion board is easier for new members to see the history of what's gone on in the team. Very hard to do that with email. It's more transparent. It's easy to get on and see what's who said what. Emails may be spread over a variety of different folders and individuals, and it's harder to collect them all together. And we'll look at that later on. They have email management tools that assist in making email a little more transparent. And that'll be in one of our later lectures on technology tool sets. This lecture, of course, is just the general principles for using technology. And the discussion board is an asynchronous record that's really for a stable group, because you have to either make the group, define the group and add members to it, or let people self-register. Email is focus on just one topic and the specific message. It can more easily target a specific subgroup in the team. Like the discussion board, it's an asynchronous record, but it's to both dynamic and stable groups. You can very easily add individuals to your emails, even if they're outside of the group, and that's not as easy to do on discussion boards. And email, of course, is more difficult to forward controlling of this information to parties outside of the group. It's not always appropriate to forward what's going on in the group to outside agencies. And we're going to have a lecture on the legal aspects of virtual team management in the future as well. Now let's look at convergence technologies. Tools used to converge a number of separate users into a single audio or audio-visual connection are known as convergence technologies. Telephone conference calls are a battle-tested convergence tool. Newer freemium technologies such as Skype incorporate video with the audio. It's especially important when there is a need to display products and their dynamic operation. So again, video convergence technologies are useful when you've got new products or new features you want to demonstrate in a dynamic manner, not just with a slide presentation. Likewise, those type of video convergence technologies are a good way to introduce new team members. The different types of convergence technology, you've got teleconferencing. That's the fastest and simplest method for group collaboration. You have video conferencing, and that adds video to a teleconference. There's many incompatibilities with desktop hardware and software, so you have to ensure everyone can use the selected video conferencing technology. And finally, there's web conferencing convergent technology. The team logs onto the same website. They use a shared screen technology. Any participant can be given control, and others can see their desktop. So in addition to video conferencing, web conferencing convergence technology also gives you screen sharing, application sharing, and in the case of Blackboard, synchronized web surfing. So, some of the principles for using conference calls. 1. Publish an agenda. Distribute beforehand documents needed during the call. Do a communication check to ensure all locations can communicate. Use it in conjunction with web conferencing to minimize disruption. One person should be a facilitator and a separate person should take notes. Stop digressions quickly and discourage interruptions. Now, not all web conferencing technologies give you the option to dial in to a conference call. Some of them are going to be audio over IP. Of course, the premium examples are Adobe Connect and Cisco WebEx, and they're extremely full-featured, and they offer those capabilities. And you're probably used to using those in your workplace. Okay, let's take 5, and then we'll continue with a review of our theory lectures and in preparation for the theory exam.